Welcome to the next video for Fly Fishing Month on Desert Dog Outdoors. I made this particular video because since COVID, traveling with fishing gear has become a lot more complicated. I think we'll all agree with that. And sadly, I believe it's progressively getting worse. And today, it's harder to travel with fishing gear than it probably ever has. Although this video will mainly focus on fly fishing gear, it also applies to spinning and conventional travel rods as well. The 3-piece spinning travel rods that I use break down to roughly the same size as these 4-piece fly rods. 6 years ago, I could take all of my fly fishing gear as a carry-on on all domestic flights here in the United States. And I can do it on many international flights as well. And this made traveling with my fishing gear very uncomplicated and made me feel a lot better knowing that my gear was with me and it was going to arrive at my destination with me. Unfortunately, those days of simplicity and reliability with airlines and airport employees are probably gone forever. Traveling with fishing gear these days, both domestic and international, is really a roll of the dice anymore. Luckily for you, I travel a great deal throughout the year, and I'm going to help you navigate the current mess in the airline industry. Now I'm going to explain to you why airline travel with fishing gear became so complicated to do. Over the last 35 years, all airlines have been trying to figure out ways to make more money. Since airlines are competing with each other, pricing kind of had to stay competitive, so they couldn't really outright price gouge because no one would fly their airline anymore. So the obvious strategy with airlines was to just put more people on each flight. And this is referred to as seat density. Seat density has increased drastically over the years, especially since the year 2000. The airlines accomplish this mostly by manipulating what's known as seat pitch, otherwise known to us as legroom. They're basically cramming more seats in planes at the expense of comfort in order to maximize profits. As the seat density on every flight increased, overhead storage capacity kind of stayed the same, and we're now at the point where there isn't enough room in the plane for everyone to store their carry-on luggage in the overhead compartment. Unfortunately, your fishing rods take up the space of 2 or 3 normal carry-ons in the overhead compartment, and they'll often make you check anything that doesn't fit in their little diagram box these days. So taking fishing gear as a carry-on is a real roll of the dice today. Like I stated in the previous chapter, for the exception of a few international destinations, carrying your fishing gear with you was uncomplicated and a generally accepted practice within the airline industry. But I fear that has changed. Back in the day, we used to bundle our rod tubes together and kind of carry them on planes like this and put these in the overhead compartment above us. After that, these really nice, badass carry systems came out, and I think this is the Fish Pond Dakota bag right here. And this fish pond case has been all over the country and to international destinations with me as a carry-on. But recently, I stopped using this. They started making me gate check this on domestic flights, and they'd make me check this on returns from international destinations. And the bad part about that is this isn't necessarily a totally hard case. Even though it's pretty rigid, it's not actually a hard case. And unfortunately, it probably had 500 pounds of baggage stacked on top of it while it was in the plane or in the luggage carriers at the airport. And Unfortunately, I had two instances where a rod was damaged inside this case. And on one trip back from Mexico, I lost a new Sage R8. So I totally stopped using this. So then I went out and I upgraded to a hard-sided copy of that travel case. I believe this one's made by SKB, and it is hard-sided. But unfortunately, they were starting to make me check this one too. And even though gate checking it before I go on the plane usually doesn't cost me anything, it made me wonder, if I have to check this kind of small checked bag anyway, I mean, why even use a case like this? So eventually, I started putting my fishing reels in a backpack that I carry on the plane, which counts as a personal item. And I started carrying my rods in this fish pond rod tube right here. And, this actually worked out with me for a few trips, especially Hawaiian Airlines was great. They didn't care about this, and neither did Alaska Air. But all the other airlines started making me check this. And this system right here kind of lost its utility. At the same time, airlines and airport security were getting really strict about fishing line and hooks going on planes. My buddy had to unspool almost $1,000 worth of fly line and backing off of his reels at the security checkpoint at the Cabo San Lucas airport. I actually had to throw away a whole fly box at LAX last year. So I'm feeling it too. Checking my fishing gear scares me though, because I've had my luggage go to the wrong destination numerous times, and airlines seem to be getting worse every year about that. I really don't want to check my stuff, but it's becoming increasingly too much of a hassle to carry it on the plane with me these days. This year, I kind of stopped trying to pass my rods and reel off as carry-on items. And in this next chapter, I'll show you some options for transporting your fishing gear in your checked bag. I'm just going to tell all you anglers out there right now that there is no perfect checked bag. And the type of fishing trip that you plan on doing will determine what type of checked bag that you're going to use. Some trips involve light aircraft to get to your final destination. And on those types of trips, they usually want you to use a duffel bag. And hard-sided luggage usually isn't allowed on those trips. I use my American-made bad duffel bag when those occasions arise. Duffels like this are also the lightest option for you. So if you're going to a place like the Seychelles, only something like a duffel bag like this is going to meet all of the strict weight limits to go on a trip like that. The downside of a big duffel bag like this is that it's a real pain in the ass to carry around everywhere. And, a big loose duffel bag like this really offers no protection for the gear that's inside of it. If I can get away with it, I much prefer luggage with wheels on it. In some airports, you have to carry your check bag a long way, and having wheels on your check bag can make life a lot easier. I mean, I've been to a lot of airports where you have to transit between the international and domestic terminals, and it might be a long distance apart in separate buildings, and you have to walk there. So having wheels on your check bag is a huge advantage if you could pull it off. But if I'm flying big commercial planes the entire way on the whole route, I really prefer the durability and security of a good piece of hard luggage with latches on it instead of zippers. In my opinion, this is the ultimate hard-sided luggage that meets all airline standards for a standard checked bag. This is the Pelican Air 1615 case, and it's badass. It's virtually indestructible, it's completely waterproof, and it has a lifetime warranty. It has 5 push-button latches, 2 steel reinforced holes, and no zippers. Zippers are actually how baggage handlers steal the content of your checked bag. It's how they get into it. So zippers are the biggest security liability for a checked bag.
Guys, don't ever trust your suitcase, okay? I promise you, people can get into this without you ever knowing. And all it takes is just a pencil or a pen. I don't want to breach this suitcase right here without people knowing. And there's a lock on each of these zippers. And I can't get in. But if you use this pen, you see what happened? See that? You can't even tell. And now look, I have now opened the whole luggage.
And I get it, trust me. TSA locks are pieces of crap, and a lot of people have the master keys for them. So in addition to the 2 locks on this case, the lock holes also have enough room in them for 2 zip ties as well. So you can make them difficult and time consuming for thieves to deal with. And that's really all you can hope for, because nothing is 100% secure at an airport. The only thing I didn't like about this case was actually the wheels. So I swapped these wheels out with rollerblade wheels with precision bearings in them, and it actually made this case perfect in my opinion. I could put all of my fishing gear in here, including waders if I'm traveling to a destination that requires them. And this case is a few pounds heavier than my normal luggage is though, but you know, you can, it makes up for it in durability. You just have to pack a little bit smarter. Fishing gear should be organized and protected while it's inside your luggage. The tubes that come with your fly rods are very heavy, you know, sometimes multiple times heavier than the fly rod itself. So you won't be using these for travel at all. But you will use the rod socks that your fly rods came with. A rookie mistake that I see a lot of new fly anglers make is just throwing your rods in these rod socks inside a checked bag without any protection. I've seen numerous guides from that practice over the years, and I've tried numerous solutions to try to protect my fishing rods inside of checked baggage for years. You know, I've tried the commercial bazooka style rod carriers, and these are just way too heavy and actually too long in dimensions to fit or be practical in a normal checked bag. I've also tried the fly rod rolls. You know, although these are lightweight, these smash and they really don't protect your fly rods at all. The best solution for protecting your fly rods inside a checked baggage, by far, is to use heavy-duty mailing tubes with end caps on them. And I cut my tubes down to 29. I usually buy the 30-inch tubes, and I cut them down a ½ inch to 29.5 inches, so they fit perfectly in my checked luggage and allow the perfect amount of room for 4-piece fly rods in there with very little space for them to move around, so it sits in there tight at 29.5 inches. The 4-inch diameter tubes like this one will easily hold 4 saltwater fly rods. The 5-inch diameter tubes will easily hold 5 rods, and the 6-inch diameter tubes will easily hold 6 fly rods. And the cool thing about these is they're very light and highly protective. And don't forget about your fishing reels. Your fishing reels need protection too. And I always put each reel in its own protective neoprene cover. Then I place all of them either in some type of small packing cube or in a bag like this. This is the small bag from Bad Bags that I use as my reel bag everywhere I go. And then what I usually do is I'll surround the reels by clothing or something soft. And this keeps the reels from moving around freely inside your check bag and possibly damaging them. And it doesn't matter if I'll be on a skiff, a drift boat, or if I'll be waiting the whole time. I always take a waterproof boat bag with me to carry my gear while I'm fishing. And when traveling, this boat bag becomes my carry-on or personal item. I used to hate the old waterproof design on boat bags. They used to leak, they'd get stuck all the time, nothing but problems with those. And I also really grew to hate my roll top bags because of access issues. But this fish pond, I believe it's the Thunderhead bag with the newer zipper design on it, has just been perfect for me for probably the last 4 years. I really like this bag a lot. And this, used as a carry-on, this bag will have a change of regular clothing and a set of fishing clothing inside of it. Just in case my main bag gets lost, I have clothing with me. And of course, gallon Ziploc bags are, like the multi-tool for fishermen. They have so many uses. So I'll carry a spare set of clothes with me. I carry all of my camera equipment with me. I usually film my hunting and fishing trips for my YouTube channel. All of my camera gear goes in my carry-on with me. Also, I'm going to carry sunglasses with me and my toiletry bag with me. Make sure you don't have anything that won't go through TSA like scissors or anything in this, but I'll take my toiletry bag with me, and I'll take my power bank with me. This is a Anker, I think 20,000 milliamp power bank. And then of course, the charging cables and everything, or headphones I'll need during my flights, that'll be in this also. Another thing is that, if it's a long flight, I might want to do some video editing during my flight. In fact, that entire Ningaloo fly fishing video that I made earlier this month was done on this laptop during my 16-hour flight back from Australia. So I really suggest getting a waterproof backpack that can pull double duty as both a boat bag while you're fishing and a carry-on during your flights. Airline travel with fishing gear became really problematic after 9/11, when just about everything from fishing pliers to fishing hooks became a potential weapon. But in this crazy post-COVID world that we currently live in, traveling with fishing gear has never been as difficult as it is today. Airlines are getting very strict with carry-on rules because there just isn't enough overhead storage in the bins for everybody to store their gear on flights anymore. They like to charge huge fees for additional check bags, and that's also become a lucrative revenue stream for most airlines. They're also charging people extra to board early so they can get that overhead space without having to check their carry-on in and wait at the luggage carousel for it. So they're making money off of that too. So I feel like the airlines like the position that they're currently in, and it's just not going to change unless some type of legislation is passed that makes them change. The rules are also open for interpretation by airport security people and regular airline employees. And it seems like the rules for flying with things are always a moving target, especially when it comes to international travel. In Mexico right now, officials at some of the airports are charging anglers export taxes on all of their fishing gear that they try to leave the country with. And if they refuse to pay it, they'll take their gear away. So sometimes it's best not to look like an angler while you're traveling and just carry your fishing gear hidden inside your checked bag. I hate to break this news to my viewers, but using your fishing gear as a carry-on item is becoming less reliable as a strategy, and many people have gravitated away from doing it. But at the same time, you also have to weigh, that plan of checking in your fishing gear against the possibility of an airline sending your luggage to the wrong location, which kind of happens all the time. It's a decision that I can't make for you, but hopefully I gave you scenarios to consider so you can weigh the risks versus the rewards yourself. This video was created to help you navigate through the current system of inconsistent rule enforcement and to show you some practical packing and luggage options for you to use on your travels. I'll gather links for some of the products mentioned in this video, and I'll place them in the description below if you want to check them out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and as always, good fishing.